Even just a few consecutive nights of sleep deprivation can shorten our lifespan by several years. Sleep, which may seem like a simple period of rest, is actually the secret key to keeping our hearts healthy, our brains sharp, and our spirits optimistic as we move into the later stages of life. However, many older adults are quietly enduring a daily erosion of health, simply due to insomnia or insufficient sleep, often without even realizing it. In today's video, we are going to dive deep into how sleep deprivation devastates the health of older adults, how to recognize the warning signs our bodies are sending us, and most importantly, we will explore effective solutions to restore peaceful, fulfilling sleep, something that is truly a natural right for everyone entering the golden years of life. Before we get started, please leave a positive affirmation in the comments below, like, "I cherish my health and my sleep," Tasins, or share any wish you have for yourself. And do not forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel, so you will not miss out on valuable insights about senior healthcare. Let's work together to create a community full of positive energy. Now let's dig deeper to understand exactly how sleep deprivation impacts our health. At any age, sleep plays a critical role in both physical and mental well-being. However, for older adults, the importance of sleep is even more pronounced. As we age, our bodies undergo a series of natural changes. The metabolism slows down, the immune system weakens, and organ functions gradually decline. Because of these changes, quality sleep becomes not just a basic physiological need, but an essential component for maintaining overall balance and resilience in health. During sleep, our bodies carry out many vital recovery processes. For older adults, this is when damaged cells are repaired. The central nervous system reorganizes information. Toxins are cleared from the brain, and energy needed for daily life is replenished. If this process is disrupted or insufficient, the body accumulates small damages over time, leading to a rapid decline in both physical and mental health. Scientific studies have shown that older adults who consistently get enough sleep each night, about 7 to 8 hours, are significantly better at preventing chronic conditions such as cardiovascular disease, diabetes, high blood pressure, and even the risk of developing Alzheimer's disease. Moreover, sleep plays an extremely important role in strengthening long-term memory-enhancing thinking abilities, boosting concentration, and helping to regulate emotions, all of which are frequently threatened by the aging process. Another critical point to note is that as we grow older, the structure of our sleep tends to change. The amount of deep sleep, the stage most essential for effective body recovery, decreases significantly, while episodes of waking up during the night become more frequent. This often leads to chronic sleep deprivation in older adults, without them even realizing it. The less deep sleep the body gets, the harder it becomes to fully recover, thereby increasing the risk of immune system disorders, metabolic dysfunctions, heightened inflammation, and numerous other serious health consequences. Understanding the vital role of sleep, now I am going to reveal the dangerous consequences of sleep deprivation. First, an increased risk of cardiovascular disease and stroke. Sleep deprivation is a serious risk factor for cardiovascular health in older adults. When sleep duration and quality are inadequate, the body enters a prolonged state of physiological stress. This triggers chronic inflammatory responses, raising the levels of inflammatory cytokines in the blood and simultaneously overactivating the sympathetic nervous system. The immediate result is elevated blood pressure and a heart that must work harder even during periods of rest. Prolonged blood pressure disturbances damage the endothelial lining of blood vessels, paving the way for the formation of arterial plaques, which in turn narrow the blood vessels and restrict blood flow. This creates a critical foundation for the development of conditions such as coronary artery disease, heart failure, heart attacks, and strokes. Additionally, sleep deprivation affects the regulation of blood clotting factors and lipid metabolism, further increasing the risk of blood clot formation inside the vessels. Another dangerous factor leading to embolism and heart muscle damage. Biologically speaking, deep sleep is the stage when the body regenerates and restores vital physiological functions, including slowing the heart rate, stabilizing blood pressure, and replenishing energy for the heart muscle. When sleep is lacking, this process is interrupted, leaving the heart without a chance to rest, gradually leading to functional wear and tear. Prolonged overwork of the heart greatly raises the risk of chronic heart failure, severely impacting the quality of life and the ability to live independently in older adults. Furthermore, sleep deprivation disrupts the balance of the autonomic nervous system, increasing sympathetic tone and reducing parasympathetic activity. This imbalance causes the heart to beat faster and the blood pressure to remain higher throughout the day, even during periods of rest. Second, memory. Decline and increased risk of dementia. Sleep plays a vital role in restoring and maintaining brain function. During deep sleep and REM sleep, the brain filters and categorizes memories, while simultaneously clearing out neurological waste produced throughout the day. This process helps maintain an optimal environment for neural activity, strengthens memory retention, and protects important neural connections. When sleep is lacking, these mechanisms are severely disrupted. The prolonged accumulation of waste products, such as beta amyloid proteins in brain tissue, increases the risk of plaque formation, a hallmark of Alzheimer's disease. This damages neurons, leading to diminished memory, impaired information processing, and decreased mental alertness, particularly in older adults whose nervous systems are naturally more vulnerable. Sleep deprivation also negatively affects the hippocampus, the brain region responsible for forming long-term memories. When the hippocampus functions poorly, both the ability to retain new information and recall old memories deteriorate, resulting in increasingly serious memory decline over time. In addition, lack of sleep disrupts the balance of neurotransmitters like serotonin, dopamine, and norepinephrine. These chemicals play key roles in maintaining alertness, concentration, and emotional stability. When they are diminished, older adults are more prone to confusion, disorientation, impaired speech, and other cognitive deficits, early signs of dementia. Prolonged sleep deprivation also reduces the brain's ability to form new neural connections, making the brain less flexible and slower to adapt to changes in the environment. This not only affects memory, but also impairs problem-solving abilities and everyday decision-making. Third, weakened immune system. The immune system is the body's first and most critical line of defense against environmental threats. In older adults, the immune system is already weakened due to the natural aging process. If sleep is insufficient in both duration and quality, this decline becomes even more severe, leading to greater susceptibility to illness, slower recovery, and a higher risk of serious complications. During sleep, the body produces cytokines, a group of special proteins that coordinate immune system activity. These cytokines not only help identify and destroy bacteria and viruses, but also support necessary inflammatory processes that allow the body to heal from injuries or infections. When sleep is lacking, both the quantity and efficiency of cytokines drop significantly, leaving the body less capable of defending against disease. Sleep also plays a crucial role in maintaining the balance of white blood cells, including T lymphocytes and natural killer cells. These cells are the frontline warriors that detect and destroy infected or potentially cancerous cells. Studies show that just a few nights of sleep loss can reduce the activity of natural killer cells by up to 70%, making the body far more vulnerable to infectious diseases and cancer. Moreover, sleep deprivation raises cortisol levels in the blood. Cortisol, a stress hormone when elevated for extended periods, strongly suppresses immune system functions. Older adults with high cortisol levels are more prone to catching colds, pneumonia, and various other infections. Additionally, chronic inflammation caused by lack of sleep increases the risk of developing autoimmune diseases, where the immune system mistakenly attacks healthy body tissues. Sleep deprivation not only weakens disease prevention, but also slows the recovery process. When older adults become ill, immune responses become less effective. Wounds heal more slowly, and the risk of complications after surgery or infections increases. This directly impacts quality of life, extends recovery times, and raises healthcare costs for seniors. Fourth, increased risk of falls and injuries. Lack of sleep directly impacts mobility, alertness, and balance, especially in older adults. When sleep is disrupted or insufficient, the central nervous system, particularly the cerebellum and vestibular system, does not fully recover. As a result, coordination and balance control are compromised, leading to unsteady gait, spatial disorientation, and difficulty maintaining stability while walking or changing positions. Additionally, sleep deprivation significantly slows the body's reflexes. Response time to unexpected situations such as tripping, slipping, or bumping into obstacles becomes much slower. Older adults find it harder to quickly adjust their bodies to regain balance, thereby increasing the risk of falls and serious injuries, like hip fractures, spinal damage, or traumatic brain injuries. Studies show that even a single night of sleep loss can impair balance and reflex speed noticeably. And if sleep deprivation continues, the risk of falls multiplies dramatically. Sleep deprivation also disrupts the vestibular system, which governs the body's sense of position, movement, and balance in space. When this system is weakened, older adults often experience dizziness, lightheadedness, and instability when standing or walking, all of which further increase the likelihood of falls in everyday activities. Alarmingly, many falls in seniors lead to serious injuries that require long hospital stays and drastically reduce independence and quality of life. Moreover, sleep deprivation severely compromises concentration and vigilance. A sleep-deprived person is more likely to be inattentive and fail to notice environmental hazards such as steps, slippery floors, or obstacles in their path. This lack of alertness significantly raises the risk of preventable accidents, like tripping, slipping, or missing a step. Long-term poor quality sleep also weakens muscle strength, reducing the flexibility and resilience of the musculoskeletal system. Muscle groups responsible for balance, especially in the legs and lower back, become weaker and slower to react to sudden changes in posture or external forces. As a result, older adults are less able to catch themselves during a fall, leading to more severe injuries. Fifth, worsening psychological issues. Anxiety and depression. Sleep plays a critical role in maintaining the stability of neural activities related to emotions. During deep sleep, the brain undertakes essential processes, such as rebalancing sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system activity, regulating brain regions that control emotions, and regenerating neurotransmitters like serotonin and dopamine, which are vital for mood regulation. Sleep deprivation disrupts all these physiological processes, leading to a range of emotional and psychological disorders. One of the first mechanisms affected by sleep loss is the imbalance between the amygdala and the prefrontal cortex. The amygdala, which processes strong emotional reactions like fear, anger, and sadness, becomes hyperactive when sleep is insufficient. At the same time, the prefrontal cortex, responsible for rational analysis and emotional regulation, becomes less effective. This imbalance makes sleep-deprived individuals more prone to emotional outbursts, irritability, panic, or sadness without clear reasons. Furthermore, lack of sleep leads to a significant decrease in the production and transport of mood-related neurotransmitters, especially serotonin. Serotonin helps maintain positive emotions, promotes relaxation, and generates feelings of satisfaction. When serotonin levels fall due to sleep deprivation, the risk of emotional disturbances rises sharply, paving the way for anxiety and depression. Besides serotonin, dopamine, a neurotransmitter linked to motivation and the enjoyment of life, also diminishes, leaving older adults feeling emotionally exhausted and disinterested in everyday activities. Sleep deprivation also disrupts the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis, the endocrine system responsible for regulating the stress response. When the HPA axis is overstimulated due to sleep deprivation, cortisol, the stress hormone, remains elevated in the blood for prolonged periods. High cortisol levels not only weaken the immune system, but also negatively impact the brain, particularly the hippocampus, which is crucial for memory and emotional processing. This exacerbates feelings of anxiety and sadness, laying the groundwork for depressive disorders. Moreover, sleep deprivation reduces the brain's ability to form new neural connections, making it less flexible in adapting to emotional changes or coping with stressful life events. As a result, sleep-deprived older adults become more vulnerable to psychological stress, and negative emotional responses are prolonged and harder to recover from. Sixth, metabolic disorders and increased risk of diabetes. Sleep plays an essential role in regulating energy metabolism, especially glucose metabolism, which is the primary energy source for cells. When the body gets sufficient rest, the exchange of glucose between the bloodstream and cells proceeds smoothly, helping to maintain stable blood sugar levels and supporting the normal function of organs. However, sleep deprivation severely disrupts this process, leading to adverse changes in glucose metabolism and insulin sensitivity, which in turn significantly increase the risk of developing type 2 diabetes. One of the most notable physiological consequences of sleep deprivation is a reduction in cellular sensitivity to insulin. Insulin is a hormone secreted by the pancreas responsible for transporting glucose from the bloodstream into cells for use or storage. When the body lacks sleep, the cells become less responsive to insulin, meaning glucose is not absorbed, effectively resulting in prolonged high blood sugar levels. If this situation persists, it places a heavy burden on the pancreas, forcing it to produce even more insulin to compensate for the resistance. Over time, the pancreas becomes exhausted, its ability to produce insulin declines, and the risk of developing type 2 diabetes rises sharply. Beyond its direct impact on glucose metabolism, sleep deprivation also disrupts the balance of hormones that regulate hunger and satiety, particularly leptin and ghrelin. Leptin signals fullness, while ghrelin stimulates hunger. When sleep is insufficient, leptin levels drop and ghrelin levels rise, making the body feel hungrier than usual, especially craving foods high in sugar and refined carbohydrates. These foods have a high glycemic index, causing blood sugar to spike rapidly after eating, thereby creating a metabolic burden and accelerating the accumulation of visceral fat. This persistent and uncontrollable appetite, when coupled with the reduced energy expenditure resulting from the prolonged fatigue caused by chronic sleep deprivation, significantly amplifies the risk of both weight gain and the development of obesity. Obesity, especially the accumulation of fat around the abdomen, known as abdominal obesity, is considered one of the primary risk factors leading to insulin resistance. Over time, this condition can severely impair the body's ability to regulate blood sugar levels effectively, thereby laying the foundation for the eventual onset of type 2 diabetes, a condition that carries numerous health risks. Furthermore, the chronic inflammation triggered by a lack of sleep further exacerbates metabolic dysfunction, compromising insulin's ability to perform its role and substantially increasing the likelihood of developing related complications, including systemic inflammation and damage to blood vessels. In older adults, it is important to recognize that the metabolic system naturally undergoes a gradual decline as a normal part of the aging process. However, when this natural slowdown is combined with the harmful effects of insufficient sleep, the disruption of glucose metabolism occurs much more rapidly and severely than it otherwise would. Consequently, the incidence of type 2 diabetes rises dramatically, accompanied by a surge in associated complications such as cardiovascular diseases, progressive kidney failure, and peripheral neuropathy, which is characterized by pain, weakness, or numbness in the limbs due to nerve damage. These health issues significantly impact an individual's ability to live independently and maintain a high quality of life. It is critical to understand that sleep deprivation does not merely result in feelings of tiredness or low energy. Instead, it acts as a deep-rooted chronic factor that systematically erodes overall health and resilience in older adults over time. Sleep deprivation quietly contributes to a heightened risk of developing cardiovascular disease, accelerates cognitive decline, undermines immune system function, and promotes the onset of psychological disorders such as anxiety and depression. This deterioration happens gradually, often unnoticed, until significant damage has accumulated. If left unchecked, the cumulative negative effects of sleep deprivation not only diminish an individual's quality of life, but also dramatically accelerate the aging process, ultimately leading to an increased risk of early mortality and a shortened lifespan. Thus, taking care of sleep is not merely about improving a part of daily life. It is a comprehensive healthcare strategy for old age. A good, deep, and consistent night's sleep lays the solid foundation for maintaining sharpness of mind, physical strength, and a peaceful soul in the final chapters of life. Investing in sleep is truly investing in lasting peace, independence, and happiness. Before we wrap up, please leave a positive affirmation in the comments below, such as "I cherish my sleep and my health," or share any loving message you would like to send to yourself. And do not forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you can continue to accompany us on this journey of proactive and scientific senior healthcare. Let's build a community full of positive energy and understanding together.